Introduction. If someone asked you, why does anyone even bother using Scrum? How would you answer them? Since the year 2000, I've been asked this question many times, in many different ways, at different companies, by people in different roles. Scrum is a very easy framework to understand, but an extremely challenging one to implement. This is not usually because its practices require special aptitude for learning or even years of experience, but because of the emotional, ideological, and other real-world challenges that we all face in business. In my experience as a Scrum Master, team lead, and software engineer, the question why has been asked at every level of the business in one way or another. This is because Scrum is a new way of thinking. It requires a change in what we do to deliver projects, and therefore any reasonable human being will want to understand why it is worth changing old habits. Answering these questions will help you to understand why the practices are so worthwhile on your projects. Realizing how important the answer to the question why is, I have condensed hours of research and experience into one easy guide. This can be used to recap, upskill quickly, and most importantly, answer questions for people who want to run their projects more efficiently but do not know why Scrum is the right way to go. Ten reasons why Agile principles work. Background and relation to Scrum. Before Agile, the waterfall model was seen as the industry standard method of software development. Waterfall consists of upfront phases of analysis, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. These steps proved difficult to embrace change and made businesses wait until all steps were complete before the product was released. Therefore, any return on investment was not made until the end. Agile is an alternative way of thinking. It is an umbrella term for a set of methods that share a number of principles, such as working in iterations. An iteration is usually a period of 1 to 4 weeks, delivering working software early, and finding simple solutions to complex problems. Scrum is an Agile framework. Other examples of Agile methods are XP, DSDM, Crystal, and FDD. Scrum consists of 3 Agile principles: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Transparency means that the whole team trusts each other and are truthful about whether tasks are completed or not. Inspection means that they assess their progress, and adaptation means that they make changes for the better based on their inspection. The product owner builds a backlog of features. Each iteration, sprint, the team takes a subset of these features, works on them, and delivers a potentially shippable product increment. Reasons. 1. Earlier return on investment. Working in short iterations means that return on investment is delivered early. 2. Responds to the market. The business can change requirements after each iteration and respond to changing market conditions. 3. Early testing. Everyone involved can see working software in action before it goes live. This means early testing by the business and end user. 4. Product meets expectations. Agile explicitly brings the customer, end user, and development team close together so that what is being built can match the end user's expectations. 5. Product corrects expectations. If something cannot be achieved for launch or will not perform as expected, everyone concerned will know early on. 6. Strong, motivated teams. Trust is at the foundation of all Agile methods. This motivates all involved and builds strong teams. 7. Highly efficient teams. Using Agile principles means rapid communication. It also forms more efficient teams through co-location and coordination meetings. No technology can substitute this human interaction. 8. Working software early. There is nothing more important than seeing a piece of the finished product. Agile practices deliver this each iteration. 9. Teams get better with age. The concept of continuous improvement means that focus on technical excellence and good design is constant. 10. Simple but effective. Agile teams crack problems using the simplest method possible, saving themselves and the business time and money. 11. Accountable team more likely to deliver. Unlike other methods, the people doing the work are held responsible for delivery, as opposed to the project manager. This creates a more natural sense of urgency. Five reasons why the Scrum Master role works. Background. The Scrum Master is the resident Scrum expert, coach, and mentor for all involved in the project. It is important for the Scrum Master to fully understand the rules of Scrum and make sure that the framework is carried out as per these rules. The Scrum Master is also responsible for removing any impediments to the project's delivery. Reasons. 1. Dedicated bulldozer. Unlike other frameworks, the role focuses one person on removing obstacles. This means that the team can concentrate on getting the job done. 2. Dedicated coach. The role gives one person responsibility for coaching others. No one can pass the buck on this. Therefore, one person has the focus of helping all members of the organization to understand the framework. 3. Impartiality. A Scrum Master can be as helpful to a team as a product owner, see below, without picking sides. The only focus is on making sure the framework and project is successful. This can help solve problems and gain trust. 4. Responsibility for framework, not delivery. This is almost reverse psychology. The Scrum Master is only concerned with making sure the framework is carried out as the Scrum rules say. Divorcing the responsibility for the framework from the responsibility to deliver means that he or she can concentrate on making sure that rules are followed, which in turn creates a well-oiled machine. If the Scrum Master's job is done and everyone in the Scrum team is performing their role, then the development team can deliver. 5. No single point of control that could fail. Since a Scrum Master does not control the team, the absence of one does not leave the team in disarray. The Scrum Master sets up a system that everyone can follow in his or her absence. Five reasons why the product owner role works. Background. A product owner turns business objectives into requirements for a team in the form of product backlog. Each item on the backlog is the description of a feature in the product. The product owner is responsible for maximizing the return on investment for the business, managing the product backlog, and making priority calls for the development team. Reasons. 1. Time maximized for business return on investment. The product owner is not responsible for delivering the work or maintaining the process, but simply for making priority calls and maintaining the requirements backlog. This allows a great deal of focus. 2. Dedicated source of requirements. There is no one else in the organization that needs to be consulted on a project's requirements. Senior stakeholder requirements flow through the product owner for a single point of contact. 3. One person responsible for changes in requirements. As the business picture changes, only one person needs to capture the new requirements and update them. 4. Achieves the best compromise. Even senior stakeholders will need to trust their product owner with the final decision. This aligns the business and makes appropriate compromises for the good of the product. 5. Aligns the customer and team daily. This role is the interface between the business and the team. His or her presence at all the Scrum meetings means that the team is always acting on the latest information. Five reasons why the development team role works. Background. Scrum development teams are cross-functional, consisting of many skill sets working together and self-organizing, managing themselves to achieve the project goal. The team is made up of domain experts whose expertise is trusted to deliver the project. A Scrum team should ideally be limited to between 5 and 9 members to keep them lean, communicative, and productive. Reasons. 1. A group of dedicated experts. Explicitly calling the team out as experts means that Scrum teams are assembled to solve problems on their own. This frees up other roles to focus on their own areas of expertise. 2. Flexible to business needs. Scrum teams adapt to a given situation in order to get a product increment built. Any decision should be tied only to a business requirement. This in turn gives a business long and short-term flexibility and reduces wasted effort in favor of targeted effort. 3. Lean and cost-effective. The small size combined with high degree of expertise means that things get done to a high degree of quality with minimal technical communication. 4. Less management needed. Teams organize themselves. This means that everyone else can concentrate on his or her own role. 5. Highly scalable when given the resource. Large teams can be separated and organized through regular meetings called Scrum of Scrums. The teams each have Scrum Masters to keep them coordinated. Caveat: when 2 or more teams work on the same code base, the team will need to decide if this is feasible. 6 reasons why product backlogs work. Background: the product backlog is a prioritized list of all the features proposed for the end product, along with their descriptions. The product owner is responsible for creating and maintaining the backlog, but the team can influence the product owner's decisions. Product backlogs are usually made up of 5 by 3 story cards, each of which bearing a description and some acceptance criteria. The stories are complete when the acceptance criteria and team's definition of done is met. Reasons. 1. Centralized requirements. One place where the whole organization can see the plans for a product. Explicitly centralized and not a duplicated document. Using software tools can make this more accessible. 2. Simple format. Since the product backlog is nothing more than a list, usually in the form of cards, there is nothing complex involved in understanding or creating it. 3. Ease of maintenance. If a requirement is added, updated, or removed, simply write a new card, update it, or remove it. There is no need to rewrite and re-release any documents. 4. Easily prioritized. If you want to know what the highest priority item is, just look to the top item on the backlog. To reprioritize the item, just move it lower down the stack. This can attract or detract attention from discussions and meetings, saving time. 5. It is visible. As well as the product owner, stakeholders and team members can access the backlog in one place. This means that they can be aware of any changes and debate them if needed. 6. Embraces change. A product backlog is explicitly fluid. The idea is that items can be changed at any time as long as the item is not in the sprint backlog portion. Three reasons why the definition of done works. Background. In the Scrum framework, the development team agree the definition of done before the project kicks off. This definition is the shared expert view of when a product increment meets their standard of quality. Reasons. 1. Team buy-in is obtained. Setting a definition of done is a simple way to achieve ownership with a team. Ownership means that the team also accepts responsibility for getting the job done, which motivates them. 2. Level of quality set for each sprint. The definition is used as a check and balance at the end of the sprint for the team to keep them within a certain level of technical quality. 3. Focus on shippability. Adhering to the definition should ensure that the software can be put live at the end of each iteration or make it very obvious when something is not ready to ship. Six reasons why sprint planning works. Background. The sprint planning session is a meeting in which the team plan and commit to the stories that they will work on in a sprint. The meeting lasts no more than 4 hours for a 2-week sprint. There are 2 halves to the meeting, the what and the how. In the first half of the meeting, the product owner presents the list of features that he would like the team to deliver from the product backlog. He explains them, and the team asks questions. In the second half of the meeting, the team break the stories into technical tasks and estimate them. The meeting ends with a commitment from the team to complete the sprint backlog within the sprint. Reasons. 1. The planning process gives solid understanding. As opposed to other methods, it is the act of discussing and understanding the proposed sprint backlog that gives the team a solid understanding of what they are building. There is no reliance on a document to do this. 2. Expert estimates. The estimates given at planning are from the most reliable source possible, those doing the work, as opposed to a single team lead. 3. Reliable estimates. Rather than individual estimates, the shared view of the team is reflected in the estimates. This is a more reliable view since it takes into account all perspectives. 4. Motivating, enjoyable experience. Planning gives a chance for people to interact and to some extent socialize. This is usually seen as an enjoyable experience as long as it is strictly timed, and especially if planning poker is used as a technique. Donuts also help greatly. 5. Product closer to customer desires. The product owner brings the business view to the session, and the team bring the builder's view. This results in a product much closer to what the customer desires. 6. Strict time box keeps morale high. The time box session must run to a strict time scale. A further session can be planned if absolutely necessary, but this strictness prevents fatigue. Seven reasons why the sprint works. Background. A sprint is a period of time less than 4 weeks in length during which the team build a shippable increment of the product. Reasons. 1. Progress by working software. When a sprint is over, the forecast progress can be measured against actual progress, not only in terms of hours of work, but also in terms of working software. 2. Strict endpoint. Whether the goal has been achieved or not, when the sprint is over, there is no more opportunity to build. However, there is an opportunity to learn. This allows the team to get in the habit of completing on time or dealing with the reason for missing a deadline immediately. 3. Opportunities for customer to change mind afterwards. When the sprint is over, the customer can decide to redo, scrap, or add to existing features. In theory, the product can change track completely. This drastic change occasionally happens in industry, but must be balanced against the emotional impact on the team. 4. Allows team to focus. It is a period of time within which the team can get on with work and should not be interrupted unduly. 5. Certainty boosts productivity. The requirements are made certain at planning and should not be changed during the sprint. This certainty allows the team to be more productive. 6. Allows team to catch their breath afterwards. The end of a sprint has a short gap in which meetings take place. This is a chance to recover and reflect before moving forward strong. 7. Early return on investment. The business benefits from opportunities to release a product increment. The learning from this can mean that sprint lengths are increased or decreased based on team consultation to allow more or less opportunities for change or release. 8 reasons why the daily Scrum works. Background. The daily Scrum is a 15-minute meeting held for the development team to coordinate themselves. Each team member answers the 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? What do you aim to do today? Do you have any impediments? The meeting is held in the same spot each day. The sprint burn-down chart and task board, see below, should be visible. The Scrum Master takes note of any impediments, and no one else present may speak other than the development team. Reasons. 1. Team on track with daily communication. No more teams that focus on the computer all day without even speaking to each other. If technical plans change, the whole team will know within 24 hours. 2. Issues surface daily. Any blockers are brought to the forefront for all to see. 3. Issues repeated until solved. Daily communication means that the issues are not forgotten. This means they are usually repeated until solved. 4. A sense of progress for all. The whole Scrum team can see how well they are doing or if things are not going so well. This gives them some encouragement and spurs them towards the finish line. 5. Increased collaboration. Instead of independent team members working on separate tasks, this meeting reminds them how they can work together to solve problems. 6. Sets daily targets. Instead of focusing on the sprint end date, this meeting gives every day a goal. The combination of daily goals adds up to the sprint goal. 7. Daily customer involvement. The product owner and stakeholders can attend as quiet observers but can follow up on anything raised straight afterwards. 8. Maximizes team development time. The meeting is strictly no more than 15 minutes. It is short and sharp, which does not significantly eat into any time building the product. It actually solves more problems than it creates, maximizing development time. Five reasons why burn-down charts work. Background. A burn-down chart helps the Scrum team to monitor progress in a project. The vertical axis shows work remaining and the horizontal axis shows time remaining. A line tracks the team's progress and should reach 0 by the end of the period being monitored. The most common forms of burn-down are sprint and release burn-downs. Reasons. 1. Shows progress to all. Whether technical or stakeholder, this chart shows people the status of the project or sprint. 2. Simple for all to understand. Since there is nothing but a cross or dot to indicate the amount of work remaining at a given time, there is no margin for confusion. 3. Quick to update. Updating the chart by hand simply involves an update in terms of a cross or dot on the chart. 4. Draws attention to issues. An off-track burn-down chart is usually related to an impediment of some sort. It can form the basis of questions to the team so that impediments can be solved. 5. Motivates team based on status. An off-track burn-down motivates the team to highlight impediments and up the ante. An on-track burn-down motivates the team to keep doing what they are doing since all is well. 3 reasons why product backlog grooming works. Background. This is a chance for the product owner to work on the backlog with the development team. It is usually a session in which the backlog is presented, discussed, and the product owner makes changes such as adding, removing, amending, or splitting the story cards based on team advice. Reasons. 1. Combines product owner and team knowledge for the good of the product. When the team have time to input into the backlog, they can enlighten the product owner and positively shape the product based on technical knowledge. 2. Expectations managed early. This session avoids features being planned into sprints or even brought to the planning stage when they are not ready for the team. 3. Team share vision. Product backlog grooming helps to share the vision of the product with the team without the distraction of planning. Everyone leaves with a strengthened understanding, which boosts their ability to hit project goals. 5 reasons why sprint review works. Background. This meeting is held at the end of each sprint and allows the team to demo the increment of the product to the product owner and stakeholders. The stakeholders ask questions and make suggestions to the product owner. The product owner makes notes to adapt the backlog if necessary based on suggestions or the output from the demo. Reasons. 1. Working software is visible. It becomes immediately obvious whether or not the sprint goal has been met. The evidence is in the product increment. 2. Team is motivated by demo. There is nothing like a demo to motivate teams to finish work. It instills a sense of pride in any professional to see their work completed and shown to the business. 3. Customer can adapt. This session is a decision point for the business and stakeholders. It allows them to continue down the same track or change track drastically. 4. Team can reflect on product. The review is like a breather for the team to reflect on what they have done, which increases their ability to improve in the next sprint. 5. Pause for a social gathering. A demo is usually social and fun event. It allows the team to have a breather from continuous work as well as recuperate before the next sprint. 4 reasons why the sprint retrospective works. Background. This is a meeting held after the review and before the next sprint. One by one, each team member answers the questions, what worked in this sprint, and what could be improved in the next sprint. This is a chance for the team to inspect and adapt. Reasons. 1. Continuous improvement. The team can become stronger, more efficient, and produce a higher quality product after each retrospective. 2. The team becomes stronger. The transparency and openness of a retrospective usually brings the team together. Strangely, rather than arguing, the team usually accept each other's points of view and move on together for the good of the project. 3. Negative feeling is offloaded. The sprint is a natural point at which feelings and concerns can be offloaded. If these feelings fester during the sprint, they can escalate and start to divide the team. 4. Fresh start boosts productivity. When the retrospective is over, there is a feeling of a fresh start and new motivation within the team. This positively affects the next sprint.